a flex pick. I mean, we can talk about whether or not JackeyLove or About are going to be as prepared for this AP mage bot lane meta, but Syndra is incredibly strong in both roles at the current moment. Taking it away from Creme and from JackeyLove, I think, is a good call here.
Do want to know what Top Esports want as their final ban. Obviously, WE will have first pick, which means Top Esports will have that counter pick on the blue side. The Defiri targeting towards Monki is banned away.
Yeah, I really wanted to see some of those carry junglers come through. Banning out the Nefiri makes a lot of sense. Definitely the best on the patch, but Jace is going to be the blind lock-in here. I assume it's going to be for Cube. This has been a champion he's played a ton of throughout this year and throughout his entire career. Really one of his most played, and definitely is going to be something that can win on the top side. Zuian, a player that was kind of exploited a little bit at MSI. Did have some weaker laning phases. We'll see if he wants to go for a safer answer or perhaps something more aggressive as we get that jungle priority we were expecting for Top Esports.
Yeah, they do lock this in, obviously giving Tian a lot of wiggle room in terms of the skirmishes that he wants to pull off, the aggression he can use into the enemy jungle against Monki, and just kind of rub faces with Monki a little bit as it goes through, not give him those free avenues towards his pathing. But you got to find some good connections with this J4. A lot of powerhouse picks still up and available since it is just game number 1. You want to find things that can burst on the back of that lockdown.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that you're in a position that you can follow up on some of those Jarvan engages. Ezreal going to be the lock-in, kind of matches some of the poke coming in from the Jace on the other side and also gives you a very safe bot lane. This, to me, very much signals that they want to go for something more aggressive in the support position. Karma is technically still an option, but Karma is much weaker than she was in the previous split. I would be a bit more surprised if they bring Zhuo in to be a Karma player for this team, and so the Ezreal probably signaling, hey, we might be
4
playing a little
years
bit more
is a
weak
long
side.
time, man. You know, we just saw him in an IP list, but now he's a changed man. The Lucian does end up coming through here, though.
Yeah, Lucian still very strong. I mean, we talked about the Lucian Milio lane being very good previously, especially with a lot of the other enchanters not being as good. They are definitely the dominant 2v2 lane right now in the game, and I think locking that in for About an Erha gives them a lot of priority on the bot side.
Now, big questions to be laid towards Zhuo. What is he going to be willing to pick in his first game back under the Top Esports banner after nearly 4 years? We've seen this bot lane together. It was not extremely consistent last time around, but both have grown, both have changed. We do see the karma for Zhuo, and it's going to be a classic duo down there for Top Esports as well.
I mean, it matches some of the poke. It gives you something to do in the early game going into this Lucian Milio lane. I just worry a bit about where that pressure is coming from. You have your engage coming out of the jungle, which is a good thing, but Lucian Milio are going to be very strong in the 2v2. Ezreal, Karma going to be taking more of a, just farm it out, play safe in the early game kind of approach, and Karma's not going to be quite as useful in the team fights. Definitely going to be interesting to see how they round out their draft. Neither team going for their mid lane just yet is very interesting, in my opinion. I think Top Esports might be, pretty interested in getting Creme into as positive of a position as possible. When you talk about players that actually did play well at MSI, Creme is the top of that list, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these roaming mid laners get taken off the board like TF and Rise.
There's 4 bans to our boy in the mid lane. Dang, WE, you have a vendetta.
Can we make it 5-5?
Including the card game out on Creme. My God, that's a serious respect. But also, you see on the other side, Top Esports also banning away some of those mid lane matchups. But both still yet to pick yet. Lee Sin gonna be the final ban for Top.
I think it's interesting to see, what they want to throw as this final ban. Something like maybe Victor or Hui, I think could be on the board as another ban to pair up with that Jarvan for some of these team fights in the later part of the game, but you kind of want that mid-game power spike alongside the Ezreal. There are still a lot of mid laners up and available for both of these teams, and so even if you ban out another one here and go 5 for 5 on Creme, I think he's got plenty of options to pull out. I mean, things like, Aurora are still on the table. That was his most played champion across the previous split. We do get that Victor ban like I predicted.
Wow, 7 mid lane bans total out of 10. That's crazy.
Certainly pinching the pool, but again, so many options available. Aurora, Annie, Ahri, Hui, like they're all still up on the board. Cassante is a pretty easy answer to the Jace on the top side. It's certainly not going to be contesting in the laning phase, but it gives way on something that can scale pretty easily. You get to play more for this poke lane on the bottom side, and Jarvan, while he might not have a ton of priority on the top side of the map, certainly should still be aggressive enough to be able to play towards the bottom side.
All right, WE going to finish out their comp here. Still obviously have Monki to choose with, as well as their mid lane matchup. Really expect them to have something that can synergize well together. It is going to be the Aurora stolen away from Creme. and will be picked up by Karis.
Yeah, I mean, also a Karis champion. Both of these players are very
Yeah.
similar in terms of the champion pools that they like to play. They were top 2 for both.
Oh, it's the
Gnar
Jace
actually
jungle.
coming through. It is Jace jungle that is
It
coming
is.
through. We wanted to see those, aggressive gank-oriented junglers, and I guess Monkey's like, nah, I'm just gonna play Jace. I'm gonna go back to what
Throw
was
a
working
wrench
in
in there.
Split
That's
1
what we said.
entirely. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a fun matchup here, and then Gnar's going to be able to take advantage of that Cassante more. Ahri is left up on the table. You would expect maybe a more aggressive type of jungler, something like a Vi typically with Ahri, but can pair well with the Jarvan if you do just want to trap people in for a lot of that damage, and it will be that Ahri coming through to solidify the draft for top esports.
Still surprised we didn't get a Rumble. I know it's fallen a little bit out of favor, but I know it's also something that Zuian maybe not the most practiced on, at least the last time around we saw that, but it is still pretty hefty team fight combination here from top esports, where there's a lot of individualistic pieces on the side of WE.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of engage coming out from the side of WE, and I think that's what I really like. The Gnar is going to find an easy way onto the backline. Aurora is going to find a pretty easy time getting onto the backline with the comp that was, drafted for top esports. They still have absolutely a chance of getting outscaled. Neither of these teams, I think, have a ridiculous amount of, late game insurance policy. I think the early and the mid game plays are going to matter a lot. That's only compounded by the fact that this is a Tian versus Monki game, and we have Jace versus, Jarvan Ahri. We're going to be getting action in the mid game. We're going to be getting invades. We're going to be getting skirmishes around these neutral objectives. I'm very excited for game number 1.
Yeah, I want to see if WE can take a step towards exceeding those expectations. I want to see if top esports still has some life left in them after a very, very disappointing series of events at the International here at MSI. It's a new split. It's a new dawn for both these teams. It's a lot of eyes on those 4 world slots that we have. But there's a lot of games and a lot of domestic focus until that point. And for both these teams, yes, we put the WE kind of ramping up radar, either not make playoffs or make worlds. It can be in the both effects for both these two teams. So getting out to a strong start, very important, especially for top esports. With the newer piece in Zhuo coming in, I really want to see what he brings to the roster. And if it's tangible, at least tangibly seen on screen.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at both of these teams in the rearview mirror of that, car analogy we were doing earlier, and they're going different directions. Top esports needs to regain that form. WE wants to keep their playoff form going. Both of them really need a win here on day number 1. They want to make sure that they start off their split hot. I think both of them have chances to be able to win this game, but you definitely don't want to rest on your laurels. You don't want to be the team that ends up falling behind just by being inactive. I expect a lot of playmaking to happen, and I would have it no other way with these two teams.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And again, you can't help but look at the record, the 2-10 record this year so far for WE. It's been a tough one for them, but see if they can start off this split number 3 better than they did for split number 2. It's going to be about that man on your screen right there. It's going to be about him versus Tian and what his Jace jungle in the first game of split number 3 can bring to the table. We have finally hit the rip for this series. It's top esports versus Team WE.
That's what I like to hear, Mazel. I like to hear the
Heck
passion.
yeah.
Yeah, we got some excited fans in the arena here today, and how can you not be excited for a rematch of our upper bracket finals from the spring split playoffs? And obviously, we have a new support coming in with Zhuo, picking up the Karma in game number 1, and they're already looking pretty good as they pressure Erha out of this laning phase. He's gonna take a ton of poke damage already.
Sheesh. That's a little wild, and we wondered if the focus in the 2v2 laning phase was going to change up a little bit. Well, Ezreal Karma right off to what they naturally do in lane.
Definitely poking out early. I think this lane will eventually get easier for the Lucian and the Milio, but right now it's going pretty well. And let's not forget, Top Esports is a team that really thrived off of being able to play around enchanters and the 2v2 meta with Fengyue in the previous split. Zhuo coming in kind of signaled, I think, to a lot of us that they maybe wanted to go in a different playstyle direction, but maybe they just like the idea of playing through these enchanters and trust that Zhuo was going to be an upgrade in that role. It's going to be a great game to see exactly what Zhuo brings to the table and what kind of differences he might have from the player he's coming in to replace.
Exactly that. I'm curious at how much leverage these junglers want to use on this bot side now, as we do see both of them steaming ahead down towards here, as they're going to be completing their clears here very quickly. First move to that Scuttle Crab fight would be in favor of Top Esports right now.
Yeah, we will see if we kind of get to that Scuttle Crab fight with all of this pressure coming through from Top Esports. I would be surprised if there isn't something coming through from Monki. Not exactly the best level 3 champion in the world, but it's just such a good lane state to try and disrupt. You want to make sure that you're not letting your bot lane get absolutely destroyed pretty early on here. With both junglers on the bottom side of the map, Tian included, I actually wouldn't be all that surprised with these two teams if we saw some early fireworks in comparison to what we're used to with Tian hitting level 4 and making his way to the area.
Here we go. Does look like double TP is going to be used towards mid lane as well. Scuttle had gotten started up by Monki, but Tian's going to take control. Again, he has first move from bot lane. Does look like he wanted to try to snipe it out. Monki won't be able to do so. We'll have to just move through mid lane to try to take the upper Scuttle Crab, where at least Cube has some push in lane.
Perfectly fine trade, I think, for both of these junglers. Well done by Monki to not over-aggress. Monki from maybe a couple of months ago would have taken that fight. Glad to see that he's learned his lesson at least a little bit, and we're just going to get a more stable level 4 to level 6, and I think that's definitely to the benefit of WE in this case. My biggest question is, where is this priority in the mid lane going to go? I love the Ahri into Aurora matchup in isolation, but it definitely isn't going to be super easy with the Jace being able to just kind of show up at any given time if he's going to play around that lane. Definitely want to keep an eye on these two mid laners who both have very aggressive styles as well.
So then we'll have to kind of keep it a little bit of a side eye on. It's a pretty calm, stated early game here. Objectives coming up, but that's something I want to talk about here, and you were kind of foreshadowing to some of the conversations. But how much do you think the kind of tempo of the game is going to be changing here in split number 3 in terms of objectives and setting up for dragons, you know, on that call here in first dragon? We have seen a lot of early objective focus over the last split.
Absolutely, and what that means is that mid lane just matters so much more. Being able to get shove and roam in the mid lane, that's super important. It reminds me a ton of the meta in 2023 and 2024. If either of these mid laners can really separate themselves, even with enchanters down in the support position, they're likely going to be very active in terms of roams on the map with these objectives mattering so much. You got to make sure you have that tempo and priority, especially with the comps that these two teams drafted for each other.
Seeing the favorability of the 2v2 in bot lane ebbing and flowing just a little bit, even though Nami doesn't exist down there right now. We are getting next foray from the junglers as we see Zuian is going to be proxy farming that top side of the map. Tian goes in for a fight for Monki, but didn't expect how much damage was going to come right back. He wanted to try to get some trading back. Karis has first move. They could move over. Charm does not connect, and now Tian is surrounded by WE as they take first blood, but they're immediately going to get traded back. JackeyLove starting to light it up now. Creme looking for his own angle on Erha, but won't find it. The Essence Flux wasn't enough. About's trying to fight back, gets down JackeyLove. It's Erha that gets the kill there too. Creme trying to get the resets, or at least trying to get a kill back. He's going to go down too. It's going to be a bloodbath in front of the dragon, and whoa, the only one left from Top Esports to run away.
It's a massive fight for Team WE to be able to make that roam first and be able to get to that play to really affect the health bars of the junglers. That was the big difference maker, and that is a huge problem for Top Esports. It's a small gold lead for WE, but look at where it went. It's 2 kills on About's Lucian. He is the strongest part of this comp in the mid game. It's going to accelerate the position that he's in, and it's just a really good look here from WE, understanding that Top Esports is going to be in a position where they're maybe a little bit overly aggressive. Tian just disrespecting the damage that Jace can put down early. Look at the roam pattern. Look at the wave state on the bottom side. Not only can Karis and Creme react at basically the exact same time, with Karis being a little stronger here, but WE's bot lane is just here first, and About gets so much damage off in this fight. I almost thought Monki was going to live for a second there, but even with the exhaust going down onto the Lucian, he has more than enough damage to continue to free hit on JackeyLove, who doesn't pick up the kill onto Erha. This being a great trade for the bot lane really equalizes some of what we saw in the early game and puts WE in a good spot to control a lot of these mid-game objectives as well.
And I'm not going to read fully into it, but what's up with that communication, Top Esports? Tian flashed down towards the bot lane of WE, who were first on the roam, and it didn't seem like a lot of that communication was coming up from that bot lane. Top Esports fumbling the bag a little bit in the early game, but WE will pick that one right up. Look at that damage done from both our mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's It's definitely going to be an exciting mid-game now with WE accelerated. I imagine with Lucian being so strong, the Dragon is going to be very much on the priority list for WE very shortly. It's going to be that Hex Drake first and foremost, but the Grubs are spawning in about 50 seconds here, so very likely that both of these objectives are going to be on the map at the same time. It gives, maybe the winning side, in this case WE, more to think about as big trade on the bot side.
The Monster Q coming out there doing some decent damage, but Erha will have some decent healing, and now the Culling's going to come out. About was able to hit level 6 first off of the bot lane 2v2. And it's going to be a push now by WE on bot lane with Monki around the corner. They could go for the first dragon.
Definitely would expect them to prioritize this. About's going to try and get this one to crash into the tower. He will be successful in that regard, but look at the positioning here of Creme as well, trying to dissuade at least any sort of play.
All right, he'll be fine. Did have to burn the flash.
Yes. It is something to get the flash out of Gnar. Certainly makes a potential Grubs fight a little more difficult for WE in the future. And so we kind of take a look here because of Creme's advantage in the mid lane, at least for now. We do have a more equalized gold state than we had a little bit before, but Monki using that bot lane pressure to start up on the Drake.
I do like that early Hextech Dragon as well. No trade as of yet either. Rift Herald hadn't been started up. Dwo's going to get the information here for Top Esports. Not yet, though. He didn't actually move over, so this is still being sneakily done, and Dragon goes over to Monki.
Nice win there for WE. Utilizes that good skirmish to be able to pick up an objective that should scale pretty well. Dragons have proven themselves to be pretty invaluable in the meta. Creme's actually in danger.
Oh, Creme! Gonna have to pop the Spirit Rush to get out of there, even in the 2v2. It looks like Karis has the better end of it. We'll be down that ultimate on both sides.
It's egregiously misplayed by Creme, and Monki's now down on the bottom side. JackeyLove does have to be a little careful here. Again, Jace has so much damage, but Grubs are up on the map, and that could potentially be the trade.
Okay, just takes a little bit of damage there. Was moving up, try to get some poke on a Monki. We'll be able to poke him right back. Woe is still hovering in mid lane as they make a combo play. Get Karis' flash there, too.
Just greediness coming in from both of the mid laners. Creme having to burn the ultimate to get out of a play from Karis, and then Karis having to burn the flash to get out of a play from Creme. Both mid laners kind of paying for a little bit of their hubris there in certain different ways, but Tian going to, at the very least, be able to pick up these Grubs. Definitely a trade that I think recently has been very in favor of the Dragon team. Grubs have not had the best win rate in comparison to what they had when they originally came out.
He has a lot of things to go kill.
Yes.
He's got a long grocery list to walk down.
At least he's got the camps to go and take. Tian, not punishing him too hard for spending all of that time on the bottom side of the map, but Monki will be able to catch up in gold here. JackeyLove get a free wave on the top side, too.
Yeah, they're going to use a little bit of Swamparunskis here. Top Esports can be the first one to make the move. We'll bring JackeyLove and Dwo up towards top side, try to get some of this free money. Maybe even try to push down a plate. There will be a response now from WE, who are redeploying up that way.
It's so funny. It feels like Top Esports basically looked at what they did at MSI and said, well, we moved too far away from what we did well in the LPL. What if we just went back to what we really did at a high level in the LPL, playing for JackeyLove, getting him as many resources as we possibly can, trying to overload that side. He's just going to pick up that wave for free and then make his way right back down to the bottom lane. Top Esports with a smart rotation there. The question is, are they going to be able to get enough gold on this Ezreal to continue to fight in the mid game? Because About has completed his Essence Reaver. He's going to be incredibly strong if they try and take a fight.
And that's what I want to talk about next a little bit. Are these item spikes, the Cyclo Sword, also there for Monki? There is a window for Top Esports to be punished, but they also have a very stalwart team. Speaking of punished, Woe just gets completely caught out, flashed on by About, who takes another kill, and now WE, they're sinking their teeth in deep to Top Esports. This is going to be the Spirit Rush used, the Breath of Life also used by Erha. Creme is going to try to block the shot from Tian. Top Esports licking their wounds. Like a wounded dog, they will be able to heal and get back.
Yeah, just an absolutely brilliant collapse from WE. Zhuo trying to get vision for his team. A little bit of a last-ditch effort there to pick off a low-health target, but Top Esports make the correct read to just leave the entire situation alone, and it's even more gold going into the pocket of this Lucian. WE are just playing the map better, and that's why they have this 1.5k gold lead. Zhuo, that communication that we were talking about, bringing him in to potentially increase the synergy, it's not there right now. Top Esports look very dysfunctional on the map, and WE are happy to take advantage of it and get themselves that big gold lead right now.
And it's so funny because when we were talking about the draft, as we go back and look at this, it was the individualistic picks for WE that was shining out in their composition, and so far they are making it shine together.
Well, that's the big thing about this play originally. Look at the vision coverage before everything starts. We have all the wards in this area. Top Esports have to go clear them out, but it's perfectly set up that you can collapse if you don't send enough members. Just a mistake from Zhuo. This is something that was happening regularly for him in some of his previous stops before he was on Ninjas in Pajamas this year. You're hopeful that doesn't become a trend. That's maybe just a bit of an early split error there, but definitely something that WE was ready to punish for, and these are the kinds of positive plays they were making in the playoffs as well.
It was indeed, as Erha is going to be a little bit of an annoying one. Trying to get the stop there onto JackeyLove. Won't be able to do so, but they will get the push in with a bout. To be able to crash that wave here as the redeploy comes back out. 45 seconds till another dragon comes up. And go back to that conversation we were having about those potential scaling pieces for Top Esports. They drafted a very stalwart team fight kind of comp. Once we get to that mid game, once we get to that late game, WE do still have a lot of options, though, to make that run awry a bit.
Yeah, my concern for TES is that they really don't have the power to be able to deal with this Lucian Milio in the mid game, especially if Jace is just controlling a lot of the river. We can see that they've done a pretty good job of getting vision onto the bottom side while this dragon spawns in about 15 seconds, but walking into Jace, walking into Lucian, walking into Aurora, it's a very scary proposition. Top Esports are definitely going to be up against it if they try to contest this dragon. It might just go over to WE as they look for bot.
Oh, they were spotted. Very close, but that's the kind of combo we need to see WE pull off. I love that they're trying to use some of that vision with the poke, with the instant damage, the burst that is on their comp.
And this is the concern for me for picking this Ezreal Karma. You really have no way to walk up to any of these objectives now that you've lost resources. Dragon looks like it's about to be started by WE. TES gonna capitalize on a bout.
Tian does a lot of damage with that Sundered Sky done. Will take a brunt back, though, from Monki. Creme has moved over. About getting jumped on. About has no exit. He didn't have flash, and he won't have anything to answer that one. That's going to be Top Esports making good on the bot lane play, and now moving over to the Dragon.
It's WE's turn to be dysfunctional. They're going to stay in the area here, but Charm landing onto Karis and damage going down. This is a hard fight to take.
Between Worlds. He's going to try to get the combo fully onto Creme. He has a lot of damage here. It's the Dragon that's the focus for Top Esports. The Charm will connect. Tian decides to abandon the Dragon to go for the kill to Karis, leaving his laners in the pit to take it. It's going to be JackeyLove that cleans it up, and now he's coming to clean up the kills onto Karis too. Tian can't connect the flag and drag. Karis barely making it out alive. A little bit of a bunny hop with the acceleration gate coming through, and WE, they will make it out. They do lose the Dragon.
Definitely a big get there for Top Esports. Making sure that you can stop the stacking of those dragons coming in from WE is essential towards your win condition, but what a mistake from WE, as Monki might be overextended here as well. Not gonna overcommit, try to take a 2v2 that would be a 3v2 with Zhuo roaming, but I don't know what the angle was there from About. He's just way too far forward on the Lucian. He is a huge part of the gold lead for WE, and that's a mistake that's really going to come back to bite them. This is already after About is down. You're missing your key crucial piece in terms of damage. Creme does a good amount of poke here, but Karis just wants to commit to try and take down the Ahri while the Dragon is going, in a bad position. Zhuo gets chunked pretty heavily, but at this point, Jace has used everything. You don't really have the smite. Karis is overcommitting, and now we got to play mid.
And he flashed so late there. He had flashed that entire time, waited until after the damage came through. That's really unfortunate for Creme. And as you say, we have that fighting happening in mid, but this is all just a preamble for WE to take the Rift Herald.
They would love to be able to get this. JackeyLove getting hugely chunked out with a lot of that poke coming in, and Karis is in danger on the top side.
2-level lead on a Karis. Karis just getting whittled down here. Zuian going for another solo bolo to start off his split number 3.
Oh, let's go, Zuian. He does not want to showcase that the MSI version of him is the real one. He wants to prove that that development, that ability to grow and change is coming through. That solo kill is massive and puts Top Esports in a much better spot on the top side. Cube could be in a bit of danger under tower. This would be a risky dive, but that means Herald is going to go over to TES, and that should basically equalize the gold lead here.
I need my showmaker copy pasta, please. Have it delivered to whatever address you want, and we'll just get that one out there, because that's Cassante, folks. We are seeing a little bit of a collapse around mid lane. Obviously, the Rift Herald looming large for Top Esports. About trying to find some poke damage, but he's got to be really careful using that dash to go forward against Tian.
I mean, he's got Cataclysm. Like, this is a very scary spot for the Lucian if you're going to burn dash early, but luckily, About not going to get punished super heavily for that. It's just been a really good mid-game here for Top Esports. I understand they're still down in gold, but a lot to like. We're going to get a replay of exactly how this 1v1 happened. Karis just stepped up way too far. Zuian doing a good job to buffer a lot of the damage.
2,000 mana, 50 million armor.
Yeah, you know,
I don't
just
remember the copy pasta
things.
word by word, but you know what I'm going for.
Oh, I think we all have
Knock
felt
up is
the
2
copy
seconds.
pasta. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Whatever.
brutal. It's brutal. K'Sante getting really strong on the top side would be a problem here. Tian going to be able to make his way out, and a lot of those mid-game pushes that WE were going for are not going as well. They now have a 2k gold lead, in fact, though. So much of that is going to be on the Gnar, but we'll see how much that actually can be used. We already saw in the first series that getting Gnar fed sometimes means you've got a good tank and a good engager, but you're going to need some follow-up damage, and that's where Monki and About have to come in.
The crucial moments. I feel like a 2-item spike right now for About is so massive, especially when that transformation is just now coming along for JackeyLove. But WE need to put the pedal to the metal here. Speaking of car analogies, it switched over to WE at this point. They want to try to continue to snowball this advantage, keep the pressure, because with their poke, that's where they are most strong. We do see some side lane gold going to Creme. That's going to do wonders for him to catch back up. And so far, the poke has not wrought any favors for WE in the mid lane. Still that steady gold advantage, but about a minute away for another dragon.
This is exactly what Top Esports need to be doing, controlling the side lanes and getting gold onto their solo laners. K'Sante obviously picking up that solo kill is massive to keep him in the game, but this Ahri needs to stay relevant. Creme is a big piece for why this comp can work in the later part of the game. Ezreal is going to be doing a lot of damage, but you need Ahri to be able to find the backline. Getting that free tower definitely gets them in a better spot. I actually really like how WE sets up for these engages if they want to play around these neutral objectives, which means that dragon spawning in 40 seconds is something they're definitely going to prioritize. Right now, not a ton of vision on the bottom side, but with Erha in the area, they should be able to overload there.
And I think when we're looking at WE, it's truly about target selection and where the damage lands. If they are able to kind of sync up and find that target, find where all that burst damage goes to on the right characters like Creme, like JackeyLove, that makes the biggest difference in any of these team fights, because as soon as resets start coming through for Creme, as soon as JackeyLove is ramped up and free firing away, that's where trouble starts to hit home for WE. As Erha, speaking of hitting home, might need to hit the back.
The big concern I have for WE is that they keep overstepping. Top Esports is going to have control over this river because they weren't able to get that mid lane priority. See if Karis is caught here.
Karis needs to be really careful there. All tools available to both sides, though, besides that TP for Karis. So it'll be okay. A little scuffle happening. About maybe getting caught out. That's the exhaust use. Cullen coming back in. Cataclysm on a Monki. Multi-part fight by Top Esports as Karis is the first to go down, giving those resets. What did I just say, Kman? Give those resets, and it will be doom for WE. And it turns out that that lead was just a straw horse. It is going to be Top Esports moving back to the dragon. It's going to be dragon number 2, and they will start to wrestle control of this game back from WE's hands.
Massive team fight win there for TES. Obviously stacking these dragons, especially with it being Mountain Drake with, you know, obviously a K'Sante on your side. That feels pretty darn good, but WE, they just keep getting in their own way in terms of the positioning that they have here. They're completely separated and disconnected, trying to play around a lot of these river setups. We can even see some of the vision on the bottom side just not being in their favor, but About, again, is just too far forward. They take a 2v2 trade, but Jackie's just pumping out damage. Zhuo is the target from what Lucian is doing in this early part. That means Jackie goes untouched, even with the culling coming out. Karis is already low. Monki is completely disconnected and is not a frontliner on the rest of his team. It's really poorly played by WE, and it's well done by Top Esports to exploit the differences in ideologies between these WE players, because they were clearly not on the same page for that fight.
And I'll just say, give everybody a little bit of a breathing room. Like a lot of skill shots being missed so far in this game, but it's the first game of the series. It's the first game of the split. Give them a break. Yeah, I absolutely love that JackeyLove arcane shifted point blank into About, as now they're gonna have to be a bit careful on the back end of it. Rift Herald got popped down just to make it a little bit more difficult for WE, but that now means that Shelly will get no value. Big True Shot Barrage coming across, and now Creme is looking for a bit of an angle. Shelly will fall nonetheless. Cube has joined the fight. Oh, they're trying to go for the play on About.
Hey, I'd be looking for it too in this game, Mazel. I would, with the way About's been positioning, I'm definitely looking to try and take advantage of this Lucian, but You know, it's at least a small win for WE getting the Rift Herald out, not losing your mid lane tower from it, but Creme is still waiting in the wings, and WE, once again, maybe have not protected well enough against a play mid.
Okay, they're going to try to siege it. No Rift Herald, but they still have good damage here.
Monki.
About trying to ward anything off. Tried to go for the predict charm there from Creme, but he was not going to fall for that one. Yeah, Spirit Rush already used. Trying to find one more angle. Charm connects. Breath of Life going to come right out from Erha.
Man, Creme is really looking right now in the mid lane. He is throwing out those charms and forcing some resources out from WE. You can talk about the misses, but you just need to hit one in order for it to be
Tian
effective.
has a master flank here. Goes for the flag and drag, double cataclysm, but they don't have damage to follow it up, and he falls right into the trap of WE. TP coming in now. Zuian goes instantly for the all-out and takes down about. Instantaneously, the ADC is gone. It is a big, heavy trade, though. Tian falling is your frontal engage, and Cube has been left alone in the bot lane.
This is exactly what I wanted, Mazel. I wanted Chaos, Karis, and JackeyLove. Oh, they gotta be careful in the mid lane here. That tower is very, very low.
Zuian getting pieced up here by Cube.
Oh man, it just never ends. Mazel, the chaos is everywhere on the map, and you couldn't have possibly asked for more between these two teams. We saw the draft and we expected a lot of combat. We've been getting even more than I anticipated. The way that we can take a step back and kind of look at the game overall, though, we have Dragon spawning in 2 minutes, and you have a 1.3k gold lead for your Ahri. I think the most important piece for top esports to actually be effective in the later part of this game is making sure that that Ahri is online to accentuate what Ezreal can do. That's exactly the position that they're in. You're starting to lose that power spike from Lucian, and despite WE having a gold lead the entire game, I think this is very much looking like a top esports favored position right now.
And we got to think of some big tools available. Not only will they have some extra gold here, potentially TP play. Okay, that is going to be Cube joining. As they're trying to get preemptively ready for the Dragon fight in about a minute and a half. Because top esports were able to take the last one, they would be on soul point with this one. The big tools, though, Exhaust, available for JackeyLove. If he finds the right target, if he can find About has no flash, no barrier. He is a weak link right now that top esports need to try to exert.
And they definitely want to try to exert their pressure here. They have been trying to get this mid lane tower for roughly 3 minutes of game time, and it's just not really happening. It's well defended by WE, and as much as we talk about, of course, top esports being in a pretty good spot, WE still has that 1k gold lead, and a lot of that gold is on the Jace. One rogue shock blast going in the wrong direction for top esports, landing on Ezreal or landing on Ahri could change this entire fight, especially with Jace now at 3 items completed. He is going to be very strong around this area. If they can set up and continue to poke out before a fight starts, they are absolutely still in a position where they can win a dragon fight and equalize things at 2 apiece. They just kind of have to win this one in particular.
And I'm not gonna lie, this is a perfect microcosm for wanting to see what Zhuo brings to this roster instead of Fengyue. These were the kinds of moments they said they were causing trouble. You know, big chaotic team fight, game deciding team fights. And this is gonna be a soul point, maybe not fully game deciding, but it is gonna be an important one. As we do get ready, top esports going to try to move in from the mid lane. Both teams have the same idea.
Monki is waiting in the wings. Again, you got to watch for that damage coming through.
Zuian was thinking about an angle. Zhuo gets chunked by Monki. Tian, he went in last time and he got pieced.
Creme?
As now they're going to try to get the calling in. Zuian is going to take the bulk of that at least. Monki is going to take a nice trade back from Creme. This is just poke central right now between the two teams. It looks like Dragon wants to be started up by WE. They're going to move in first.
Monki is so low. You can heal up with Erha, but it's going to be tough.
Another shot across the bow. And Monki gonna dodge out of the charm. Breath of Life was used anyways. Karis tries to go in for his own angle here, but Creme now looking. There's skill shots being thrown at my fridge right now. I don't even know what's hitting anymore. Monki just takes down the jungle matchup 1v1, but Monki's gonna fall too. He's so low. All out's gonna be used, and that's gonna be Zuian taking the kill now. JackeyLove free to fire, free to go any way he wants. It's gonna be the ADC Dragon battle now, as Creme trying to look for a charm angle. Just needs to hit one, and that makes the difference. It's going to be the dash out from About. Now Karis trying to go back in for damage. It's back and forth, but it's going to be the move from JackeyLove that finds the Mystic Shot. They're trying to find more. Essence Flux is there. Arcane Shift not back up yet, but it's going to be About wailed into the depths by top esports, and Creme wants to go chase down Erha, but won't be able to find him just yet. It'll take a little bit of time, but it'll also take a dragon for top esports. True Shot Barrage is going to clip him, and it's JackeyLove who's back in form, baby.
It's pure execution diff in favor of Top Esports. They just play the fight better. You're absolutely right, Mazel. You had skill shots flying around the entire map. You had some that flew by our window, and we're coming all the way here to North America. But at the end of the day, Top Esports hit the abilities that they needed to hit. At first, it looked like this was going to be massive for WE because Monki actually lives in the early exchange. The setup here is pretty good overall for Top Esports. Once About goes over the wall, he kind of has to play really safe throughout the rest of this fight because he's burned a lot of his tools. But with Tian going down early, they just don't really have the engaged tools. By the way, Baron's going down in favor of Top Esports in the picture-in-picture right now as we get the rest of the replay of this fight. But now it's just straight up 3v3. Karis is at low health. JackeyLove's at low health. You just need to play better. About does a good job to dodge one charm, but with the last of his mana, Creme is able to land the one that really matters. JackeyLove's just pumping out damage in this fight as well. It's just better from Top Esports.
What a pillar performance from JackeyLove here. Going unsung in a lot of these fights, not on the radar, and finding massive moments, sustained damage from the Ezreal. And these are the kinds of step-up moments. I know it's the first series of Split, but these are the kinds of moments I need to be seeing from one or two of these guys on this Top Esports team. They're going to live up to those expectations, and especially JackeyLove.
Let's not forget, JackeyLove was the first team All-Pro AD carry for us in, Split number 2. This is somebody with a ton of expectations, and boy, is he pumping out damage as they see.
Yeah, he is. Like shooting fish in a barrel over here for JackeyLove. Is About's going to step forward, try to get the culling in. He's going to get a decent amount of damage. Tian needs to be really careful. His positioning has been a little bit wonky. His TP coming in. That's going to be Karis joining. We'll have a little bit of speed here, but really just there to dissuade Top Esports from fighting as he left Zuian on the top side of the map with the Baron buff. They're going to get a decent amount of damage here with the Baroned up cannon minion, and they're going to take a tier 2 in mid.
Top Esports are playing the map so well right now, and that's what I think their comp actually does at a really high-end level. They can team fight well because of the Jarvan engage, but their ability to side lane is really impressive as well with Ezreal and with Ahri. Even the Cassante is going to be really good in that phase. Having this Baron buff and being able to make the most of it, that could likely determine the entire game. That 3k gold lead needs to balloon here as we continue to push forward. The thing I've been watching in these fights, Mazel, Monki has consistently been getting chunked out first by this Ezreal. His positioning has not been ideal. We highlighted him as being a critical piece of WE in the pregame. He's still the one with the gold lead, and he is the one that kind of needs to be positioning well if they want a chance to get back into this game.
We're taking a look at those expectations for the game itself when we were talking about the scaling conditions, the kind of togetherness that Top Esports can bring in the later part of the game. And I think we've fully crested over to those moments now. That some of these 4-item builds coming through. Top Esports, they're knocking on the door for their first game win of the split. It's looking like the inhib is the focus for now. They're going to move Zuian over.
Oh, charm lands.
Max gets on a Monki, loses half his health. Tian thought that was the moment to go in. True Shot Barrage hits onto 4 as Karis is trying to be taken down by Creme, but Creme can't hit him. He can't get the first kill, but he's looking for a second. The jump comes through from Tian, but again, Tian overextends. Barely makes it out with about 200 health, but the damage has been done. Mid lane inhib turret is going to go down, and they will get exactly what they came for. TP coming in. That's going to be Cube. He's almost out of Mega. He TP'd when his Mega was falling down. He wants the chase here. They want to try to continue, but Zuian is full health. You can't really do that. There's going to be the back being completed by Tian. No, he stopped. He stopped. He stopped. He stayed. Creme, he wants to wait. Tian doesn't go in fast enough. He loses his mid laner, but he'll take one down too. It's body for body, and who rises above? Maybe it's JackeyLove. He finds another. He finds a triple. He's going to look for more. It's a quadra kill for JackeyLove.
Are they going to save him the Penta? Are they going to let him get it? Nah, he's going to end the game instead. Zuian going to take that final kill. JackeyLove's going to be the hero once again for Top Esports, and they're going to march their way into the base to end game number 1.
That's how you stand up and say, I'm the captain of this team. JackeyLove with a massive Ezreal performance, 10-1-3 in his first game of split number 3 for Top Esports. 1-0 in this best of 3.
It was looking a little dicey there, Mazel. I was getting a little concerned in the early game with some of the fights that Top Esports were taking, but lo and behold, they're fine. The mid game comes around, they end up taking a lot of these fights, outplaying WE in a lot of key areas, just as they've done in previous splits, and being the better team. If there was any question about, oh, how's JackeyLove gonna look? He's losing Fengyue, he's getting a support he hasn't played with in 4+ years. It looked pretty
He
fine
said,
to me.
"Nah,
He
I got it,
absolutely
bro."
dominated.
So
Oh my god.
get in my backpack. I got you guys. Even, like, I want to talk about the good things. I gotta say, Tian had some really rough moments in this game, but luckily JackeyLove was right there to pick it up. I think Creme had some good moments as well for top esports. I didn't outright see those communication differences that I think we were trying to look for top esports. But what a hell of a way to grind out a win.
This was a hard win. Like, this is a game that is going to be relatively difficult because you do lose that pressure in the early game, because Lucian in particular gets so many of those kills about playing really aggro, and he had his own sets of problems in terms of his positioning despite the early lead that he got for himself. But you had to outplay these fights. You got down to multiple situations where it was 4v4 or 3v3, even the big 5v5s as these fights started, and you needed to make sure you were just in better positions, getting more damage off. And when it came down to the carries and, you know, what players on the Rift were the best here today, that absolutely was in favor of top esports, with JackeyLove and Creme, I think, both stepping up in some big moments.
And this begs a question. Is this just the natural state of things between these two teams? Again, WE have won 2 games against top esports, and that was all the way at the beginning of the year with a completely different team. This has been a heck of a one-sided matchup between top esports and WE over these last 2 splits. So far here in split number 3, we're seeing a little bit of the same.
Yeah, I think that is the scary thing for WE, is that while they seem to have had BLG's numbers specifically in the playoffs, you know, they took down AL, this is the team that they've not been able to beat. This has been the team that has always had their number. And again, Zhuo coming in offers a bit of a different, you know, feel on everything, but this is clearly still a bit of a problem for them. They had this game in the palm of their hand. They had control, I think, over a lot of this game coming out of the mid game. They just didn't control it. I mean, jeez, that is just
43% damage done for JackeyLove. I know it's an Ezreal. Stats are padded, but my God. It was in those team fights, but it didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's, you can say, you know, stat padded Ezreal. We talk about it with some of these poke champions. I'm not seeing Jace do that kind of damage. I wasn't seeing Varus do that kind of damage. I'm also
seeing JackeyLove arcane shift in front of people's faces. That's how you know he's feeling himself.
Yeah, I mean, he looked awesome in game number 1. Again, I got to be clear. He was the best AD carry in the LPL in split 1, or in split 2. This is not a shock. I mean, we can talk about the MSI underperformance. This is the JackeyLove we've been seeing for most of this year. I am not surprised to see it come out here in game 1. I'm just hopeful we keep getting it, man.
Yeah. Was his Ezreal? You know, this one right here, I'm just like, you just arcade shifted straight into him. Couldn't hit a thing. And yeah. This was the quintessential JackeyLove performance that we need to see repeated throughout this split. Got a quadra kill in his first game of the split. It's going to be something to write home about for sure. Top esports, though, very standardized kind of composition here. Zhuo on the Karma. How did you feel about Zhuo's first performance here on the team?
Some rocky moments, for sure. Getting caught out in the river when you don't have vision priority was definitely a bit of a problem. He was just completely alone in that position, and that's just something that I think will get better as you go along, is recognizing when you need to move with your jungle and when you kind of just need to give over space for the river. Outside of that, he was useful in this game, but a lot of Karma's effectiveness comes in the early part of the game, which they didn't actually have a ton of advantage in. So, you know, we saw some good plays. We saw some Mantra E's in the later part of the game. Really, there's just not a ton of, you know, difference-making plays that the Karma can make in some of these fights, and so, you know, to be determined on Zhuo. I think we got some pop-off moments from the carries a little bit more so than we did from the support, but at least they picked up the win here in game 1. He certainly wasn't bringing them down, which I think is a good first start.
And for WE, how are we feeling first time out? Living up to expectations? Kind of feeling the same about how we were feeling about them at the beginning of the split 2?
Unfortunately, I think this was a very WE game. And I think I say that in a lot of different ways. You know, they're able to get their early lead. They have a really good skirmish and, you know, play really well around level 6, but they just don't really have the team fighting capability to actually end games in the way that, you know, was causing them a ton of trouble in the previous split as well. So you're hopeful that that eventually is going to be something that gets fixed. But again, over-aggression from players like About, poor team fighting, in my opinion, from players like Karis that just were not in the right places at the right time, and Monki getting chunked out before every single fight started on the Jace as the poke champion. They just didn't control the area as much as they needed to, and eventually they just never really had the goal to stay in the game.
Threw up the Pengu Garen for another solo bolo. Love that. Zuian was kind of feeling himself in the Cassante. I love to see that. Well, we all know who's getting player of the game. And if it's not JackeyLove, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, we'll see. You You know, we saw the votes
Caputa?
for series number 1.
Better watch out.
Yeah.
Better not be you.
Yeah, better not be you. It better not be Zhuo. We saw some support bias in game number 1 of the previous series. We'll see if we see that again here, but yeah, man, I mean, JackeyLove was just untouchable in that game. 221% damage per gold.
Yeah, insane stats to start off your split there. From a split that needs to have these kinds of performances consistently from one of our best AD carries. As you said, best AD carry in split number 2. Coming back to represent in split number 3. Doesn't look like MSI hangover is affecting top esports all that much. A little bit of rust to kick off. But I think going into game 2, are there things that you want to see changing for both teams before we get going to that break?
I know it worked for top esports, but I just want to see what this team looks like when they get Zhuo moving around the map. We saw them get collapsed upon, but by the way, 8 of 8, very deserved. If it was anything else, that would have been a bit of a problem, but I want to see this team play more team fight oriented. I think they did a good job of controlling their side lanes, and they had pieces like the Jarvan early on, but close this out, man. Get some full engage on that side, and I think I'll be pretty happy.
All right, well, we'll see what happens for game number 2 of our final series of the day here on day number 1 of split 3. We'll